There's a new book out on the shelves that's telling the story of a woman on the run from a powerful cult that finds her way back to the tiny island in Maine where she grew up. Joining us this morning is the author of Little Great Island, Kate Woodworth. Kate, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, before we talk about the book, can you tell us how you became an author?
Oh, that's actually a great question. I think I was born an author, but the moment I knew I was an author, I was in 11th grade and I was writing a composition, and the teacher came around to my desk and said, "This is the way real writers punctuate." And I knew in that moment that I was a real writer and I had to learn how to punctuate properly.
Don't we love just a good teacher?
Yes.
And you mention a teacher in this book. So I actually did read this book. I'm so excited to have you on. Let's talk about Little Great Island. It was released back in May, follows the story of Marie McGavin, right?
Mari is the way I pronounce it.
Mari,
Yep.
Okay. I was wondering how does that, as I was reading the name. I read a review that described it a woman's fight to save herself, her son, and the community she calls home. What do you think about that?
I think it's actually a great description, and there are 12 different points of view in the book, and each one of those points of view, including the island itself, has its own arc.
Yes.
So that describes Mari's arc, but there are all these other people in this community whose stories are told as well.
Would you say Mari's the main character here?
Yes.
Okay. So obviously I was really captivated by the cult aspect of this book. First of all, you told me just off camera you are not from Maine originally.
Correct.
You write like you understand the island, you understand the Maine way of life.
That was the bar. I couldn't get it wrong because I have so many friends from Maine islands, and I knew they'd come after me if I got it wrong. And to me, a big piece of it, or many big pieces, but I wanted to recreate that sensory feeling of being on the island, which is why the island's point of view is one of the points of view in the book. And I'm very conscious of trying to include details about what it sounds like, what it smells like, what it feels like. The other high bar for me was trying to recreate what it's like to be in a small community off the coast, where everybody is very reliant on each other year-round, and then you have all the visitors who come in during the summer.
How did you do that research? How did you get to know how this island life feels?
Well, that's lived. I did spend summers on the island when I was a child, and the reason that I did is that my father had gone there as a child in the late 1920s, early 1930s, and fell in love with this place to such an extent that even though he had not met my mother and wasn't married, he decided that when he had children, we were all going to be going to this island.
I know, Kate, summer's almost over. This is a lovely beach read. I spent my many hours just reading this book on the beach. Can you tell me the inspiration behind this concept of change? It's hard to change in this book. Change is not really welcomed on the island in some instances.
It's not, and I think I'm one of those people who's resistant to change.
Same.
And I've also had to go through a number of changes in my life. Geographic changes, changes in my marital status, the change of becoming a mother, and then the change of having my children leave home. And so I really wanted to investigate that dynamic, and I could really look at my own life to sort of mine those feelings.
And I saw that portrayed out when you had Mari come back to the island, that interaction between Mari and her mom.
Oh, her mom, yes.
Yes, I thought that was, you know, very powerful to show how it's a little awkward sometimes. And then the father, a lobsterman, right? Is there anything else on this book you would want anyone who's considering picking this up at the bookstore to know?
I've heard from a lot of people that it really is a compelling read, which of course as an author just makes you so happy. But including one person who is from my class in college who told me that it was the first book in his life where he'd actually read it straight through and stayed up most of the night to read it. that is a huge compliment to me, and I hope others have that experience.
It touches also on farming practices.
Yep.
I myself, not a farmer, but I still read this just fine. It was great. Is there anything else you would like to tell people about where they can find this book, or anything else to send them out with?
I am going to be doing an event at Print Bookstore. That's going to be September 3rd at 7 o'clock, and I will be in conversation with an academic from Bowdoin who's in environmental studies and another author. This is part of the Be the Butterfly campaign that I have initiated along with the book.
The butterfly effect.
The butterfly effect. And the book happily is basically available wherever books are sold.
Lovely. I love the touch on the butterfly effect because it's a little change, a little difference can make such a big impact.
Exactly.
We'll send you out with that, and thank you so much for joining us today.
You are welcome. Thank you.
Check it out. We will be back with more on ARC